What is everybody doing this weekend? I was just chatting with my couple of my girlfriends online here, and we are going to the Tustin Home and Garden tour tomorrow. I don't know what that means. I've never been to it, right, Jen? Have you ever been to it? I literally, do you have those local events that happen in your neighborhood, in your town? And I see it every year. I've literally lived in this town for 28 years. I've always wanted to go. They've been doing it for that long. So I'm so
Go
looking
to the
forward
one in
to it.
Laguna Beach, the Laguna Beach
They
one.
have
You actually go
lots of
in
them.
the
Absolutely.
houses. It's so
Yeah,
fun.
I'm
That's how the other
excited.
half
I'm
lives.
excited. Absolutely. So what
It's
else is
nice.
everybody doing this weekend?
It's
Anybody else doing something super fun?
it's really nice going to those shows.
Yes, it
I,
is. It's so neat.
no, not me. I have to watch
Well,
my leg.
you got to get better, right, Barb?
Yeah,
And you were a winner this week, so I
I
did
was.
send your winner money to Anita. So make sure you
Yes,
get it.
yes.
I wanted to share something that
Facebook.
I heard this morning. I was speaking with one of my Kingdom Wealth clients that we get to serve in the Pedro community, and she is up in Northern California at a fasting and prayer retreat. It's a beautiful retreat place that she goes. She says she does it once a month. And I said, Stella, you need to send me that link. I need to make a plan to go up there. I know Mary Alice has sent me some information about some of the retreats that she's done. But friends, this is one of my most favorite things about building our own kingdom wealth is it gives us, it opens up so many opportunities to when we come across something that sounds fun, that sounds like something that we want to do. So many people can't because they just simply can't afford it, right? And it's one of the things I love most about what we do is we help families create their own economy so that they can do more of the things that light them up, right? So I have a couple things I want to share with you this morning, and then I have a really fun lesson I like to give. I don't give this lesson very often, and I've been thinking about the last month and what the meetings that I have with our coaches, with our students, and so many of them are asking, how do I build a community? I'm not a marketer. I never planned to be one, but I find myself intrigued by this better business. I'm interested in learning how I can share this good news with others. And so I'm going to share with you a little bit about what I've done for the last 20 years on LinkedIn and show you some ways that you can help yourself as well. And we're actually going to be doing a deep dive into this in our Kingdom Wealth Creator membership. We meet weekly, by the way. For those of you that are new to our community, if this is something that you want to continue doing with us on a weekly basis, we have a membership that we'll talk to you a little bit about before we wrap today. But I want to start with just sharing a little bit about, reminding you really the significance of what we're building, okay, with our Better platform. Now, this week we have had speakers that have come in and they've shared about partnering with God and business. They've shared about, yesterday, how amazing was Lorna sharing about, vision first. Lorna is always such a firecracker when it comes to vision and how we can build that first. And everything else is so much easier to follow when you do that. When you think about the Better platform, really, I think the best way to describe it for those that are struggling with, well, I understand the concept, but I really am not exactly sure how to share it with others. I describe it like Amazon. Amazon came along, they completely disrupted the retail industry, right? Remember when Uber and Lyft came along? They used to be You tell your children not to ever get in a car with a stranger, of course. And now Uber and Lyft came along and they've revolutionized the ride sharing industry. The same thing happened. I think of the example, the little known place called Starbucks, right? We used to go to our local donut shop or a 7-Eleven and get a cup of Joe. And now I was just texting a friend. I said, "Hey, you want to you want to go to our Starbucks?" I call it our Starbucks because we always go to the same one. All these companies, they've revolutionized an industry. They came into it, they disrupted it, they did it differently. And that's what I love about what the Better Platform has done. Like Amazon, we are not a company, we are a platform. We are a distribution platform. And that's how I describe it to people. You know people that I don't know. And the Better Platform has really harnessed the most valuable thing that we all have, which is the people we know, our personal network. And some of you may be thinking, well, Lisa, I really don't know a lot of people. Lisa, I don't actually really like a lot of people, right? So I want to invite you, first of all, to remember we are all God's kids. And so we get to appreciate one another. We get to figure out, okay, I don't really necessarily understand why I'm in contact with this person, but I know that I can learn something in every interaction with God's kids. So if wherever you're at in that grand scheme of life, I promise you that if you have a desire and you commit to building your own community, then you absolutely can do it. But it does take that commitment, right? We invite you to continue to commit with us. We are looking for the people that are looking for us. A lot of people sign up for Better and they do nothing with it. I call it, they sign their AMA, which is their associate acknowledgement agreement, and then they go MIA, right? They sign up and then they never show up again. And I want to just encourage all of you, first of all, show up for yourself, right? If we don't see you again in our community, make sure that you harness and leverage all the amazing things that the Better Platform is creating for us. The trainings that they have, they just keep getting better. I was on a phone call with Mark the other day and we were talking, he was asking, is there marketing material? He was thinking about creating some things. Continued, first of all, go to your Better Platform first before you try and invent anything. See if there's something there. I still personally don't even know all that's there. And the reason is because they keep adding it. So just because you check once, make sure you keep checking. I don't know if anyone's noticed, there's a new provider on our platform called Prosperity Tax. This is, holy cow, what an amazing service offering that this is going to be providing to our entrepreneurial and business owner friends. I just sent a referral to a good friend of mine that has a massive real estate portfolio, and he's always working on, he's a well-paid W-2 employee, but he has massive real estate portfolio and he has business around it. And he's like, Lisa, I'm getting murdered on taxes still because he makes too much as a W-2 employee. I said, I've got a guy. You need to call this number, right? He's scheduling time with them. So my friends, I swear, it's amazing what happens when you make up your mind and you commit to something. There is nothing more powerful than a made-up mind. Mary Ellis, you have something you want to share?
Yeah. So I signed up my cousin and she went on and she calls me and she says, what does this mean? She read every single line of the contract.
Okay.
I don't do that, but she did.
Right.
And she saw something that I didn't know, that they may or may not drop you if you don't sign another person up within a year.
Oh, interesting. See, I haven't even seen that myself,
I
you know?
didn't know it either.
I have, and it's interesting. And you know what? Good for them, right? Why keep people that are not planning to help build, right? Planning to help build. Does anyone remember last month we heard that we are going to be getting stock options, stock certificates? And this, how fabulous is this? Are you kidding me? It used to be, I've been part of two startups, not startups, two stock offerings in my corporate career. Two of my companies went public, and I was the beneficiary of stock certificates. And I tell you what, one of them, I put my oldest son through college on that. You know, it is unbelievable what happens when you just get a little piece of a company that explodes. It's unbelievable, right? So be watching. If you already have helped a client, even if it's the client is you and you've helped yourself, you will be getting a stock certificate, even if it's $20 that you've made, you'll be getting a little something, and every little bit counts. God can do amazing things with a little bit, right? So friends, if you are, maybe you're just popping in, maybe you're watching the replay this week and you still haven't signed up for your own Better referral, make sure you take that step. Make sure you do that. I've seen people trickling in throughout the week and doing that. If you signed up for the workshop and we don't have your full name, we did not do that for you. So you're going to want to do that for yourself. Make sure you do that. Be watching for those stock certificates, and also be watching for, this month we started something new where we found that people would come into our workshop and they would be here, they would be present, they would be taking notes, and then we didn't see them again. So we added this month, we added a new role, which is leveraging the time of our coaches that have already been, certified with us. They are success coaches. They are reaching out to our new friends. So make sure you take advantage of their time. Their role is to help you get affiliated with Better, get acclimated, learn about our community more and how you can continue to be involved and grow with us. Make sure you take advantage of that complimentary session with them. And also put our next our next challenge on your calendar now. I want to share with you the speaker lineup that we have next month. I want to share two of the people. And by the way, the challenge is going to be June 17th through the 21st. And we're going to meet the same time, 12 noon Pacific. This will be the last month that we are doing this format. Starting in July, we're going to be doing more of a half day, 1 day format. And we're going to be mixing it up every month. But Penelope Jane Smith, she runs one of the largest investment communities for entrepreneurial women on the planet. And Rachel Jane is an incredibly prolific speaker on vision and mindset and how you can create the life that you want to live, inner and outer beauty and harmony with your Heavenly Father. So we have an incredible lineup. A couple of other of my friends, my friend Christina Daves, who is a PR expert. She's going to be joining us next month as well. So be watching for your promo that you can help us promote the event. You can share, when you're on social media, you get to borrow my friends. This is another way that we leverage one another's community. And I want to share a story with you. Some of you may be thinking, well, Lisa, I don't have the time to commit to something else right now. I don't have the resources. Maybe our membership is something that you've considered before, but you just don't have the money right now. And I want to tell you about a story of when I was in a situation and I knew I had a decision to make. And I knew that one decision would take me kind of the slow and steady way. And then I had another decision to make that I knew if I really committed, it would get me there a lot faster. It was the very first time that I met Pedro. I was a victim of a Facebook ad, and he was talking about finances and God. And, I'm in financial services. I'm thinking, who is this guy? He was a little like kind of in your face. Does anyone describe him that way sometimes? Whatever ad I saw was very, wow, this guy's very disruptive, and I opted into his challenge, and everything he said, I was like, where have you been? Where have you been? Yes, 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 and yes. Anyone else, when they see Pedro, they're like, yes, 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 and yes. And it just so happened that the very next 2 weeks later, he was having his conference in Anaheim, where I live, near where I live. And so I thought, great, I'm going to go to this, and I sat there and I thought, this whole 3 days, I had never seen anything like it. I had never, Mary Alice, was that where we met the first time? I think it was, wasn't it? I think it
October?
was. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's when some of our family room was there, and I got to meet Mary Alice. And as many times you go to a conference and there's an offer at the end, right? And there was kind of 3 like choices at the time. I had already jumped into one of his certification programs, and I was already learning how to be a kingdom entrepreneur. I was learning how I can build my business based on this kingdom framework. And then there's this offer to join this whole other, group of things. But then there was one offer that really caught my interest. And it was a big offer. It was something I'd never spent this much money on anything, right? It was $50,000 to jump in and work with Pedro directly, right? And so, friends, I was in turmoil over this. I knew that I wanted to do it. I felt like I was called to do it, and yet at the time, I did not have $50,000 that I could just, put down on that right away, right? But I walked away from that event and I committed. I said, Lord, I don't know exactly how I'm going to make it happen, but I believe this is what you want me to do, and I committed. And guess what? I found a way to do it. And it's so crazy when you make a commitment to something and you believe it in your heart that you are meant to do it. And not just you, but it's because you are hearing it directly from your Holy Spirit within. And as a result of me committing, my friends, as a result of me making a decision, even though I couldn't afford it, right? It's insane what's happened in our business since. It's insane. We are now partnering directly with Pedro. We are in partnership with him. We are bringing in people every single day that have a heart for serving, that have a desire to change lives and impact more people. And we have really leveled up. I tell you what, just in the 3 months that I've been partnering with him, my income has tripled. Officially partnered with him. It only just started, actually, it just really started in January, right? And I was already making good money. But guess what? I wanted more of my community to make good money. And I saw the value in leveraging the partnership with this man. We just had a manager's meeting with him yesterday. It was a small room, wasn't it, Donis? There weren't many of us invited to that room. And just to share with you what is planned for this company, we will be $1 billion company. And every single one of us has an opportunity to be part of that by leveraging this incredible man and what he's built, and leveraging what we've built in our community. I was an employee for 25 years. I didn't know anything about entrepreneurship. But when I committed and when I decided to partner in business with God, it's incredible what he's done. What I had done in my own life is I had I had found and found a great resolve and solution in my own life. I had found a level of financial freedom in my own life. And my goodness, if I could do that working for someone else, imagine what's going to happen as more and more of us decide to partner with God in business. Combining that with catching the right tailcoats, right, Mary Alice, right? Hanging on to the right tailcoats. It's incredible. So I just want to encourage you, wherever you're at in commitment to yourself, whether it's commitment to better, maybe you're just starting and you know what, you're going to try to do it on your own. Well, then commit to that, right? Commit to it. Give yourself the time and energy to commit to attending those meetings. Do your checklist. Start creating a marketing plan. If you want to leverage other people's skills, our abilities as a community, if you don't want to do it alone, I want to invite you to come into our community. Our membership is very simple. We celebrate one another. We share one another's stories, right? This month, I'm going to be focusing all month on LinkedIn between now and the next challenge. We're really going to focus on LinkedIn. And I'm going to share, I want to share a few just little lessons about why LinkedIn. Okay. Now I'm going to share a slide with you about just marketing in general. Some of you raise of hands for those of you that have heard this idea before. There's blue ocean versus red ocean in marketing. And blue ocean, there's space between you, right? There's water that's flowing. There's a lot of blue that you can see. There's the red ocean. There's a lot of sharks in that water. There's a lot of people trying to feed from the same fish pond, right? And that is why I personally have chosen LinkedIn for my primary marketing strategy. Now, I will tell you, I use this tool for decades in my recruiting business. I find it's interesting. I was just talking, I can't remember who I was talking to. Talking to one of our new better partners, and they know me from my recruiting world. And they're like, well, I can see, Lisa, why LinkedIn is great for recruiters, but how is it good for business building? And I just opened up so many doors for just a possibility for them just in the little time we had together. I'm going to share some ideas that I want to pass on to you and that we're really going to be focusing on the next 4 weeks in our membership. But first of all, just imagine, doesn't it make sense to play in a blue ocean versus a red ocean? First of all, just doesn't it make sense? There's a lot of noise on Facebook, for example. It's hard to differentiate. It's hard. LinkedIn, my friends, is a business media tool. People are there to do business, and it's incredible. There's over 900 million users on LinkedIn, and they're primarily working professionals. So, what's interesting about that is that working professionals, I kind of think of them in one of two camps. One of them is the camp that they are in their field of favor, as Pedro says. They are doing what they're called to do. They are there, maybe they're there recruiting themselves for their companies. They're building a business. There's also a very large camp of professionals that have accidentally landed in their career. They don't necessarily love what they do. It doesn't necessarily light them up. And I personally think it is a great tool to use to enroll new people into Better. What family on the planet couldn't use an extra economy in their world, right? And I'm going to give you some examples about how you can use LinkedIn, some messaging. First of all, if you're new to LinkedIn, I want to really help you, encourage you, and think about how are you positioning yourself. Now, sometimes we have people come in and they have a profile on LinkedIn in one, in whatever their chosen field is. I worked in my previous world with a lot of IT professionals, for example. So the question is, well, now I'm transitioning to this. How do I position myself? Still doing what I'm doing. You know what? Guess what? If you'll notice, there is a lot of people on LinkedIn that have two roles that they play at once. There are so many people in today's economy that have their own business, for example. It does not detract from their professional life. It just shows, in my opinion, that they're doing things in life. Make sure that when you're building your profile, you offer what you can share what you are going to offer. Why are you there? What are you able to do for people? And make sure you spend time constructing a winning LinkedIn profile. We're going to go a little bit deeper into this month in our membership. What are you going to post? How are you going to do it? And at a minimum, I would say post twice a week. We have a tool that we use and we teach our community called Octopus, which is a great tool that you can leverage and enable you to reach out to many people at once with one message, and then the idea is, what is that message, and that's the fun part in community, because we really like to leverage one another's time and abilities. What's working for you? How would you phrase this? Video also, as we've heard many of our leadership communities, regardless of what community you're in, there's so much talk about video and engagement and how you can share video and engage others. Video definitely equals engagement. I want to give you a little, I just attended a very in-depth marketing workshop last week specifically for financial professionals, female financial professionals. And there was a great tool that they gave us that I want to share with you. And it's really a magic. I cannot believe this. And yet what's interesting about it is when I think back to my corporate career, and I made millions and millions of dollars in my business. I was very blessed in my corporate career. I helped many, many people find jobs. I did it for year after year after year. And what's interesting, when she was talking about this process, I thought to myself, this is exactly what I did when I worked for someone else. I would find someone. First of all, I always had financial goals. I always have. And my friends, if you don't have financial goals in your life, if you're not clear about what your goals are financially, it's very unlikely you will get there. So that's the first thing I would say to you, is make sure that you have a goal. You write it on paper. I remember my first goal when I first started working in recruiting. I made $1,200 a month. And that was a raise to me. And I was so excited. And who could live on $1,200 a month now? Obviously, I'm dating myself. This was a while ago, but it was a raise to me. And I remember the first time I was told, Lisa, with commission, you could easily double, triple your income. Right? So that was my first goal. In that first year, I wanted to double my income. I went and I did double it, and I doubled it over and over and over again. In our corporate careers, my husband and I, there were many years that we were both making 300, 400, 500,000, and we did it over and over again. And so, friends, I'm telling you, money is everywhere. It's the business vehicle that you choose to help you get there that really determines your ability to create it. So determine, how much do you want to make? Do you want to make an extra 1,000, 5,000, 10,000? Make a decision though. Commit to that decision and then break it down. It's very easy. How many clients would you like to help per month, ideally? And when it applies to the Better platform, I would really make sure that you focus first on you're realistic, because your mind has to make sense of the math. It's one thing to say, it's interesting, in my practice company I was with before, it was one of the things we would always ask is 12 months from now, how much do you want to have made? And I don't know why the first answer that most people would say is 100,000. And my next question would be, well, have you ever made 100,000? And almost no one would say yes, right? And yet what's interesting is that's the first place people go. Now, what I would tell them, and I will tell you now, is if you have a financial goal, now you get to reverse engineer it, because mathematically, if regardless of what your goal is, if your mind can't make sense of the math, it's going to be difficult to get there. That's why prosperity preaching does not work, in my opinion, because your mind has to make sense of the goal. It has to have a way to get there, a solution that can be found to achieve that goal. So, for example, let's say we take prosperity financial. Let's say you're going to focus on helping people get out of student loan debt, right? Donis, we know, are they paying $300 a month, $300 per client now? Is that right? $300 per student loan referral. I think that's it. Is it more, Mary Alice? I know it used to be 400. Obviously, it depends if you split a case. I think it's 300 now. Okay, so let's say you wanted to make $1,000 a month. Math is easy with that, right? 3 times 300, that's 900. You're almost there. Whatever you choose to pick, do the math. Make a plan for yourself and find that focus. Find that focus. How many clients would you like per month? Ideally, how much would you need to make per client, and divide that by take the amount you want. Divide that by the clients. That's going to be how many people you get to serve. Now, my question to you is, friends, if you have your life license, for example, now this is a totally different story, because obviously with your life license, you could make $10,000 in one day. I just got a check for $10,254. I knew that was coming. I knew I had helped one client with a rollover, and that's what I was compensated from one client, right? So it depends on what tool you're using. Now, who could you clone that might bring in that much revenue per year? So let's talk about cloning. Let's talk about who to clone. Okay, I want to give you 3 ideas, and these are basically level 1, 2, and 3. Now, level 1 would be who you already have in your hand. This would be a client that maybe you've already worked with. And by the way, it does not have to be a client in your better business. It doesn't have to be a client in your life insurance business. If you're one of our licensed agents, this could be someone that you've worked with in the past, maybe in another business. I talk about my IT professional world. There are so many consultants that I used to work with that have a big network of people they worked with in the past. Those are the people that I would call on. You think about if you were opening a restaurant, for example, would you only invite the people that you knew? Or would you invite the people you knew, their brothers, their sisters? Would you go on the World Wide Web? Would you tell everyone about it? Of course you would. So why is it any different when we open a home-based business? So the first level is someone you know, someone you've already served. It could be somebody in your parish. It could be someone in your church that you've prayed with. It could be somebody that from your work that you've developed a good rapport with. Not necessarily your warm market though. Level 2, that's where your warm market is. Someone that you know well. Someone that trusts you, they know you. Some of you may not have a very big warm market, but my friends, make sure you at least let them know what you're doing. Don't be a secret agent. Make sure you should never go to Thanksgiving or Christmas and people wonder what you do. If they come across somebody in their world that has a need for what you can offer, you should be the first person to come to their mind. And this is how I like to share with people. It used to be in our practice company, when I think about what we used to do, I almost cringe now, because it was very, it wasn't salesy, but it wasn't, in my opinion, now looking back, it wasn't authentic, in the sense that we would call someone and we would say, hey, I'm just getting started on a project with a friend of mine. I am in training and I could use your help. Would you hop online with us for, 5-10 minutes? And which always turned into what, 45 minutes, right, Donis? Would you hop online for 15-20 minutes? Always turned into an hour. And I'd like to show you what I'm doing. Maybe you can send me some referrals. Okay. Now that doesn't sound bad. Would we agree that doesn't sound bad, like theoretically? But the reality is, how about you just said something like this? I just got started with a new company. We're looking for help on how to expand that. And I thought of you. Are you looking for another income stream in your life? Do you know anyone that might be? I like the direct approach. I like the fact that I'm not asking for help. I'm just letting them know what I'm doing. You know what? If they don't have time, then I say, do you have like 2 minutes? I can just share with you why I got excited about it. And so if you hear of anyone that needs this help, you can say, hey, call my friend Lisa, call my friend Mark. We believe that more families need to earn more income. And we help with a lot of different solutions that are helping a lot of families. We find that most families are needing help in these areas. One is debt. Find there's a lot of credit card debt and student loan debt. If you know anyone that's in that, having that problem, I would love for you to send them my way. We also find that there's a really big problem with health insurance right now. If you know anyone that needs health insurance, that wants to get better health insurance, then we also have a solution that provides that. Another one we find is so many people are paying a lot of money in taxes. We have some great tax solutions that can help others. Now, those are just 3 that I lead with, because I find personally, those are the areas that I see most people looking for solutions for, right? All you're doing is you're sharing. Guess what? If you know of people that need this help, then I would just really appreciate those referrals. Make sure that your warm market knows what you're doing. Don't be afraid to share. And then level 3 is someone on the World Wide Web. And that's why I really like LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is professionals doing business together on LinkedIn. They are looking for solutions. They're looking for opportunities. I'm going to show you in a minute. I'm going to go to LinkedIn and I'm going to show you how many people right now are simply looking for a sales role. So, make a decision. Who are you going to clone? Are you going to clone a level 1, a level 2, or a level 3? So level 1, someone you've already helped, someone in your book of business. Level 2 is someone in your warm market. And then level 3 is someone in the World Wide Web. Now, I should add, now that we know what Pedro's doing, I should add a 4th one. And that is, you know what, Lisa? I don't want to do any of this. I just want to leverage what somebody else is doing. And I'm just going to join Pedro. Donis and I have been part of this success coach group, this first group that he rolled out from this last challenge. And do you know that we have over 2,000 people that have reached out to us, that now he's distributing these free leads to us. So, there's options. I'm telling you, there's options, right? Now, when you're going through your ideal client cloning, first of all, pick the level of cloning magic you will start with. Now, so 1, 2, or 3, which one are you going to focus on? Now, I want you to identify in your mind, start to imagine this person that you'd like to clone. Make sure they pass. Robin called it the ideal client cloning test. And this part gets me excited because, my friends, I think what I've noticed happens in whatever business you've started, it was the same with my original financial literacy company that I was with. It's the same with better. People automatically think of who needs it, right? Oh gosh, I have a friend that has, a student loan. Not to say that that's not a good thing, but when I'm talking about partnering with someone, you think about people you would just love to work with. You whenever you spend time with them, you get ideas from each other, you vibrate at the same level. You would provide tremendous transformational value. You know that you have something that can help them. You would get well paid for it. And you can find them on the World Wide Web. And Robin uses LinkedIn ideally. I want you to name that person. My gal's name is Summer. I've done this exercise a number of times in various communities. Her name is Summer. Summer is about 38 years old. She is making she just crossed for the first time over 200,000, and she doesn't know where it's all gone, because all of a sudden she gets her tax return and she's paid tons of money on these taxes. She's actually already paid a bunch of taxes, but she's at the end of her tax return, she's asked to pay more. This was me, my friends. This was me right around 38. It was the first time at that time I had made over 250 grand. And my husband and I looked at each other. I'm like, where is it? Right? We had saved some in our retirement. But my point is, my friends, pick someone that is doing well. I want to encourage you. It is so much easier to work with salespeople, for example. Salespeople like to buy things. I love to buy things. I've always been in sales and I love to buy things. And I want to tell you, if this is a new concept for you, borrow my belief until you can believe it yourself. I promise you, these things that I'm sharing with you are true. How much is Summer making? As I shared, Summer was making about 200 grand. She was looking for ways that she could get more of her money in her two hands versus the IRS. Uncle Sam was getting way too much of that. And I want you to write down your 12-month income goal. We believe in incremental goals. I love what Lorna shared yesterday about the 10, 10, 10. Think of your income also in increments. Think of your weekly income, your monthly income, your annual income, and make sure you also think about your 10-year income. How is God going to partner with you in expanding your business so you can make a greater impact financially on other people? We are a tribe of 7-figure givers. I'm not quite a 7-figure giver yet, but I'm getting close, and I am going to empower others to do that. 1 million women get to hire themselves, remember, in our community. We're well on our way. But take that 12-month goal, divide that number by the amount you make from the ideal client that we talked about. So how many clones of this ideal client do you need to hit your goal? I want to get granular with you. I want you to think really, really strongly about this. Summer, for example, my 38-year-old Summer, she was an IT director. She had moved her way up quickly. For some of you, it might be a business owner. Summer actually wasn't a business owner, but she was intrigued by it. This is how I was. She was in technology. She still is. She's been with her company at that point. She'd been with them it was her first job out of school, just like me. She had previous experience, but it was more hospitality. She was good with people, therefore. I wanted to work with somebody in California because I knew how expensive it is here. I know people are constantly looking for things. Keywords for her, she was a believer. First of all, I don't know. It's amazing how many people on LinkedIn talk about their faith. If you just actually look for it, you'd be surprised. I just searched faith-based coaching the other day, and there were thousands and thousands of people that proclaim that, and I love it. I personally No, it's interesting. Even though I was divorced and I was a single mom, I'm choosing not to have summer be that. And the reason is because I know how hard it is during that time. But I also would love, maybe she was at one point, but now she's married. Now things are a little bit, easier, because it is easier sometimes when you have two people contributing to the household. But I want you to get really clear, my friends. I want you to, are they married? Do they have children? Do they own a home? These are things I want to encourage you. Some of them should be on your list. If you are going to have success, the more success you have, there's something that's really important to think about is if somebody has a home, do you think, first of all, that maybe they're good at having a financial goal in mind and achieving it? Do you think maybe they're good at spending, maybe a little better at saving than others? But then also making a plan to make a big purchase. These are the kinds of things you want to think about. Stay-at-home moms, actually, that's a really booming area as well, I would say, because there's a lot of stay-at-home moms now that have a desire to contribute financially to the household. We have one of our amazing community members, Stephen and Chelsea Diaz. They run this business where they teach people to build Amazon businesses. They have a year-long program that they teach people, and they were already doing pretty well. But when they started partnering with Pedro, and he helped them niche down on targeting the the stay-at-home mothers, their business exploded, multi-million-dollar, business now. My Summer, she is very generous. She is very philanthropic minded. She loves to travel. She loves to go places. She's always planning something new. So get intimate with your ideal client, because I swear the more you get to know her or him, the better you are going to be able to serve them, the better you're going to be able to attract them. I want to encourage you. Some of us, in the practice company, we were trained to, well, where do you come from? How can you serve that industry? And I know that might make sense, generally speaking, but I want to ask you, I'll give a great example. Donis has done a fabulous job of reaching out to her network, the people in the entertainment community. Donis, I'm going to ask you to unmute for a second. I want to ask you a couple questions about this because I think it's important. Donis has, obviously, we all know Donis. She has a massive heart for serving. For sure, there is a need in her community of entertainers, right, Donis? We know they need health insurance. We know they don't have retirement planning.
Right.
All the things. But you've really struggled to serve them. And tell us, you and I have had many conversations about this. What are you finding around why are they not seeing what you see? And how just simply tweaking and finding a different ideal person really can change things.
One, they don't see me as a financial expert because I was an entertainer with my husband. And a lot of them that I'm learning is like, especially in the health insurance, the wife or the husband has the insurance. And so, it as excited as I was, it's like that those doors just weren't open.
Yeah, absolutely. And she's not giving up on those people. Those are her people, right? But Donis is, it's so beautiful what I'm seeing happen for so many of our coaches as we are stepping outside of maybe our comfort zone, as we're stretching, as we're growing. Donis is helping many of Pedro's community now, and she's borrowing Pedro's credibility. Right? Pedro, these people that are with him, myself included, I will go to battle with this man. I know what God has ordained him to build. And it's such a blessing to ride these coattails, right? I want you to think about, though, regardless of whether you are in a community where you're already able to leverage. For those of you that are already a paid client of Pedro's, by the way, he announced yesterday that he's rolling out officially his affiliate program. And even for the people that haven't paid one of his large programs, he's going to be rolling that out as well. So be watching for that. I'll obviously share that with you all as I get more information. But I don't want you to give up on building your community, building your ideal avatar. That's why I shared this information with you about what I'm doing on LinkedIn. I'm going to be doing a lot more with you. I want you to take a screenshot of this and use this. I have a class that I teach. I haven't done it in a while, but take a screenshot, use the promo code. This is a $1,500. I think that's what we charged. Yeah, it was like $1,500. This is my gift to you. Just put in the code Kingdom Community. It might be free. It might be $35. I forget what our person did, but my point is, take advantage of this class that I teach. Take time to build your own community, because guess what? Regardless of what other people are building, I believe you each are meant to create something, your own economy that's personally you. I believe God wants you to do that, and until you can create it yourself, borrow my beliefs in you, borrow Pedro's beliefs in you, borrow Lorna's beliefs in us. Lorna believes in us, right? And I promise you, the more you borrow others, it's going to become your own belief as well. This week has been so fun. Dennis, you had a question?
Actually, Lisa, there's a question in the chat. Review, please, the cost of joining Kingdom Wealth Creators.
Oh, sorry. Yes, you will be getting an email about this. It's $33 a month. Or we do offer, if you choose to do annual membership, we take, I think, a month or two off. It's $330 for the year. So, in that, we will be getting a link about that, but in that we do many, many things, and I'll share a little bit about that before we wrap today. God planted this big dream in my heart, my friends. We are creating a tribe of 7-figure givers, and it starts with our own families. My heart I ache for so many of our families that are struggling. So many families are living paycheck to paycheck. And I keep having, Jeremiah 29:11 just continues to, it's my verse, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. And I know it sounds so simple, and yet so many families are in that hamster wheel of life. And there's a lot of kids that are going home to an empty house, being raised by TV and TikTok and living. Just how many families do you know live for that one family holiday, that one long weekend? Maybe even, it might not even be every year. It might be every 3 to 5 years. And that, in my opinion, is not prospering. It's why we have our Kingdom Wealth Creators community. We teach a framework that really starts with the Kingdom Foundation. And there's so many ways that we are able to create our own economy. Next month, we have one of my girlfriends, Lorna, you know Lori Souza, don't you? Lori is our crypto queen. Lori's going to be joining Penelope and Jane, and we're going to be really getting smart about crypto. Personally, my friends, I have lost money with crypto. You know that my sweet father, lost $350,000 on crypto, but I am committed to having Bitcoin in my portfolio. I have a company now that I work with. called Swan. They're based out of LA. That's all they do is Bitcoin. And I do believe in this asset class. There is no asset class on the planet that has ever done what Bitcoin has done, nor do I believe it will. So Lori's going to be teaching us about Bitcoin next month. And I know that you all have people that you want to serve. If it feels like a win-win situation, we're excited, have you join our Kingdom Wealth Creator membership. Here, I'll pull this up if anyone wants to take a screenshot of this, and you will get an email. You will get a text reminder about this as well. But go ahead and take a minute to scan that or take a screenshot about that. Again, this month, we are really going to be doing a lot with LinkedIn. So if that's a new tool that you'd like to add to your tool belt, this would be a great month to jump in. Mary Alice, you had something, I wanted you to share something and I can't even remember what it was. Do you remember what I wanted you to share?
I remember, and I did have a question, but I answered my own question. So
You did. Okay. Can you and I had a conversation earlier and I can't even remember what, but I asked you to share about it before we wrap this week.
Absolutely. I was in the mastermind that Sharon Lecter joined and was speaking in, and she told us of something that her father asked her every night of her young life.
Yes.
And the question was, have you added value to someone's life today?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Have you added value to someone's life today? And I'm going to recommend that to everyone to ask their children or grandchildren even, because I think it helped to shape Sharon Lecter, and she's amazing.
Oh,
Absolutely.
absolutely. I remember her telling me that. I was blessed too. I did a one-on-one with Sharon at her home in Arizona. And I remember now that you told me that, I remember her saying that. And there's another element of that she also told me at that time, and she might not have said it with you, but she also asked, was there anything that you failed at today? Was there something that didn't go so well? Imagine that. I've always asked my kids, what was your rain today and what was your rainbow? That's how we have talked about it in our family since the kids were little. They know about that. And sometimes as they get to be teenagers, it gets very annoying for me to ask, even my 24-year-old, I'll call him, did you have any rain today? Was it all rainbows? Tell me about one of them, right? So I just encourage you, friends, wherever you are at, I want to just thank you so much for the blessing of every single one of you this week. Every week, it's so fun. Barb, did you have something you wanted to share, honey?
Yes, I've been on LinkedIn for a long time, long time, and I don't go on it very often, but I got a message from this Carrie Towns from University of Michigan, who I know, and she's like sending me an application for a job.
Oh, really? Isn't it funny? I know. It doesn't matter. I'm telling you, if you have teenagers in your life, get them on LinkedIn, start their professional profiles now. Everyone, my 16-year-old doesn't quite have it, but having this experience of going through her first job interview this last week, it's opened up so many great conversations, so everybody, it's been so great having you this week. June, who should we do a drawing for our $100 guest winner? Now remember, this month, every week you have an opportunity to enter. The first 4 days you have to be present to win, but the last day, we know Fridays sometimes are tricky to get someplace. So every time you've joined, your name has been entered. And let's see who our grand prize winner is today. Doug Harris. Congratulations, Doug. We will make sure and get in touch with you. I think I saw Doug here once this week. So does anyone know him, by the way? I don't know him personally. Okay, we'll figure it out. Well, everybody have an amazing rest of your week and your day. And Donis and Jen, I will see you tomorrow. Everybody, I love being with you. See you soon.